Fuck off, Greg. No, what's up, dude? What's up? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome in. What am I holding out about? Okay, what am I holding out about? Hey, let's try this. Let's try non-copyright music. Just like, you know, background noise. Not streaming. I told you guys what I was gonna do. I told you I wasn't gonna be streaming a lot. Aw, I missed you too. I really wish I could say the same about everybody, but I just don't feel like streaming lately, man. It's just the games. It's basically the games. I'm not really digging games right now. I think maybe if there was like 11v11 or yeah, if there's 11v11, that's about it. I don't look at any video game right now and say that seems like a good way to spend my time. That's all it is. It's like it's nothing. Yeah, I mean, I try to stick around Discord, but it gets a little bit too trolly for me, so I just leave. You know, I stick around Discord. I go to one Discord, you know, it's just trolls. Go to another Discord, trolls. Then I'm just chilling. Anj post to cook you. That's good. Now, a little trolling. The trolling doesn't bother me. It's just I don't got time for it. That's all. I understand the trolls. I totally understand the trolls. Just don't got time for it anymore, man. I've been saying for weeks. I'm just getting old. Getting too old.
I heard that. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh.
I feel like I should make myself darker to fit in with everyone else's time zones.
Oh, I gotta mute this stream. There we go.
And the fact they want to sign Salah. My mic recently has been incredibly loud on my own videos. Yeah, so I've recently updated like all of my drivers on my PC, and it seems to have actually now made my microphone like it should be.
Oh.
No, I use software. Yeah, I use Driver Booster. Very good. Makes a huge difference. Ah, okay, yeah. Hoff, what do you use for a camera?
I've got a. I can't see. I think it's a Sony A600. It's one of the
like a proper
earlier.
camera.
Yeah,
Use
it's like one of the
DSLR? Yeah.
earlier. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's one of the earlier Sonys. I forget. They don't make it anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, I got it on eBay from a guy in St. Petersburg, and it arrived here like the day before they invaded Ukraine. And I was like, "Oh, I'm glad it got here."
Yeah.
Dude, they're tracking you, bro. They put spyware in there.
They may have.
They're like, this guy's part of the
just want all- I
Columbus
want all that football
Crew
news.
army. You were involved in the Columbus Crew fans supporters group.
Yep.
Maybe they think it's like some underground military, you know.
Maybe.
That's why they sent you the camp.
Oh, I gotta get more water.
What do you use, Cart? What is your camera?
I got a Logitech like 922 or something.
Oh, C920.
C9. It's not a 920. It's a 922E.
Oh,
Or maybe
okay.
it's 920.
I think that's the one I first started out with. I think.
Yeah. When I was looking for cams, it was during COVID, and all of them were sold out.
Yeah.
So I was looking for the 920, but all they had was 920E or whatever.
20E. Okay.
EE or something. 22EE. No, 925E. Whatever that is.
25. Oh, well, you're frozen now. So I'm suggesting you went into settings in the middle. Oh, you're back. There you go.
Yeah, I did go into settings.
I just use an iPhone.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I've just got an iPhone set up.
Over Wi-Fi or over cable?
No, USB. And then
Nice.
use an app called EcoCam. Yeah. It cost like $5 to download. One-time fee. Yeah.
That's a good deal.
It's an A5100 is the name.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Turn my light around. All right. I'm gonna mute this. Good evening, folks, and welcome to episode 77 of the 91st minute. It is almost the end of August. Transfer window's almost closed. Second week of Premier League is underway. We have all your favorites today. Milo the first. Milo, how you doing?
I'm all right. Yeah. Not bad. Not too shabby.
Doing good. Hoff. Welcome in, Hoff. How you doing, Hoff?
Can't complain.
No?
Can't complain.
And joining us, we have Mr. Culture Left Foot Cultured, back from vacation. How you feeling?
Good, thank you. I'm good. I mean, my football team are shit, but I'm good. So.
Whoa. We'll get to that. I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. But guys, a lot to talk about today. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Leave a comment. We will respond enthusiastically. good, bad. You don't know what we'll get from us, you know? And of course, welcoming everyone on Twitch. Please follow as well. And watch all the YouTube clips. You know? Check out the YouTube
And
clips.
comment on them.
Comment, algorithm, Elon Musk, everything.
Like, subscribe, but comment, you know? Tell Cartwheel how wrong he was about XYZ.
Never been wrong, guys. That's the amazing part of this show. That's what once people understand
Milo.
that.
And Milo said Z. It's been too long. Get back to the motherland.
Z.
XYZ.
XYZ.
We have what's chat talking about before we get into our topics? Kane will score
Nonsense.
50 this year.
There are some fans in chat that are threatened by other teams. Clearly, I can see it in their comments. They're just threatened. That's all it is.
By Kane?
No,
I think Kane could score 50 in the Bundesliga, though.
No, not Kane.
Yeah.
We have Harry
Given this
Kane.
past weekend, defending is optional.
Uh-oh. Things are
Yeah.
stuck. Hold on. Okay,
There were
sorry.
so many goals on Saturday. It was great.
God, everything's
Oh,
breaking.
well,
Hold
me
on,
and
guys.
Milo have paused. I've paused poking my face.
Everything's stuck. Hold on.
Uh-oh. This
All right,
is why
Milo's
you
back.
wanted to do it, isn't it?
Cultured's back. All right, there we go.
Hey,
Woo,
right. There
that
we
was
go.
close. Welcome back, everyone, to the 91st minute.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Again.
We could quickly talk. I don't think we're gonna cover too much Bundesliga this week. But Kane scoring and assisting on his debut, his starting debut. Pretty nice assist, I think. Did you guys see that? What do you guys think of that?
I did. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Bayern kits.
Yeah.
You like
Yeah,
the
I love
white
the
kits at
Bayern, yeah.
home? Oh no, they were those
No, the
black
black.
ones.
Yeah, they had
the black
that
ones,
with like
those green ones.
the night lights.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are
I
cool
would-
kits.
I would watch it. It's just too German.
Sheesh. Okay. All right. Moving on. Arsenal. Okay, we'll talk about Arsenal. All right, chat. Let's
We'll
get into our
talk about
first.
Arsenal.
But we had a big blockbuster match this week. You know. Let's get into that one first.
Oh, Chelsea
Yeah.
West Ham.
Turn this music's down a little bit. There we go. All right, there we go. New Tottenham Hotspur manager Ange Postecoglou celebrated his first home game in charge with a 2-0 victory over Manchester United on Saturday, thanks to Pape Matar Sarr's first ever Premier League goal and a late own goal by Lisandro Martinez. Both sides hit the woodwork in a pretty free-flowing contest. Bruno Fernandes wasting a golden opportunity to put United ahead with a headed chance from him. United facing a lot of backlash after this one, while Spurs fans got to be feeling pretty good about Ange's first two matches. Let's send it over to Hoff for this one because he is the winning man here. Hoff, how you feeling?
Pretty good. Like you said, that was a good description. Yeah, it was more of the same. It wasn't wildly different. As far as Spurs' performance from the first match away to Brentford, I thought everyone, just looking at the lineup, I don't think anyone really had a poor match. Everyone was at least average or better, I would say. Vicario made some huge saves. Van de Ven was good. Udogie is... I've been super impressed with him in the first two matches. His first two games in England, in a new role for him. He didn't really play that inverted fullback at Udinese. So yeah, he's been really impressive to me. And I'm glad to see Sarr get a start. Just to see how the midfield shakes out, because I don't know if Bentancur's going to come straight back in when his ACL is completely healed and he's cleared to play again. But if Sarr, Skip, even Højbjerg, if those three can manage keep the level high in the midfield, it will allow him to not rush back, because that would be worst case scenario. He rushes back for a match in like 3 weeks and then does a hamstring or something. So the longer that he can go without playing and the performance is still being high, the better. But I think the difference once he does come back fully healthy will be hopefully noticeable if he performs like he did under Conte, which, to contrast that with Basuma under Conte, he was basically non-existent. So yeah, it's wild how different the team has been, and it's mostly the same players. Yeah, it's night and day. And the defense in this match, I think that there are going to be chances given to the other team. That's how they're set up. Like I said earlier, Vicario made great saves, and I felt like United were wasteful with a few chances. And so that helped. So I wasn't expecting many clean sheets this year, so I'll be happy with whatever ones come our way.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. Bentancur got injured at the end of last season, right? So he hasn't trained at all with Ange, right? They're expecting him, they said mid-September at the earliest. But yeah, he did his ACL, I think it was early April. So I think even September would be really impressive if he came back full strength then. Okay. Cultured, how's what's going on with United?
It's just a bit. Well, I think the first half we actually played really well. I think the first half was a good indication, I think, of what Ten Hag wants to do. Bruno should have scored. Rashford had a couple of chances, but I don't think we threatened Spurs enough. I think the midfield still looks a little bit disjointed, I think is a good word for it. Casemiro, Mount and Bruno in there looks... I'm not sure if it's going to work or it's a ploy from Ten Hag to be like, this is what's happening and this is why we need a replacement for Casemiro or someone that can come in alongside Casemiro. Casemiro's looked very tired very early on in games, which is a concern, I think. I don't know. It's not that we're playing badly. Obviously, I joked at the beginning that our team are playing shit, but I don't think we're necessarily playing badly. It feels and looks like all the other teams, the teams we've played so far, are just fitter, in a better stage of their sort of pre-season. Maybe they took it more seriously or whatever, but Tottenham looked to be more energetic towards the end of the game. I think both teams ran out of steam at about 70 minutes. But yeah, it's just a tough one. It's definitely tough to see Spurs get a new manager and look like all the players have immediately settled into how that team want to play, where we've had Ten Hag for, a season now, and it looks like players are still getting used to the transitions he wants to do. We started last season very poorly, didn't we? And recovered from it and had a very good middle and end of the season, which was good. There's a few blips in there, but I'm trying not to be too negative too early. Mount, I want to give a bit more time to. Anthony, the front three have been, awful, really. Garnacho's looking like he should only come off the bench at the moment. We need Højlund to come up front as a sort of focal point up front. Rashford needs to go back to the left. That is where he plays his best football. So there's a lot of things in there that you can look at and go, it needs to improve. And it has to happen quickly, because you give up 2, 3, 4 games early on in the season, and it's really hard to recover from that. So it's very tough. It's very tough. I'm not losing faith. I'm not going to be one of those reactionary fans that's like, Erik Ten Hag out. No, he's got to go. He's rubbish. Like, obviously he's not. He's a very good manager. It's interesting to see what we're going to do in the rest of the transfer window. If we're going to do anything. Rumours are that we're not going to do any more deals unless we sell, right? We've got to sell to buy, I think is what the state we're in at the moment. So yeah, it's just a little bit downheartening at the moment to see how we played last season and how it hasn't transferred into the start of this season. And pre-season was okay. I think, we beat Arsenal, but after that it wasn't very good, and that's why I never read too much into pre-season, because it depends on what you do at the start of the season, and we haven't done very well, let's be honest about it. So yeah, but I think Tottenham, with their second half performance, I think Tottenham deserve the win. I don't think we did enough.
Yeah, I'd agree with most of that. There was one big decision. There was a big handball decision that on Garnacho's shot off Romero's arm. I don't know, what did you guys feel about that one?
Right.
Hoff?
Wow.
Yeah. Was it a penalty?
It was a penalty. It was a penalty.
Okay. Hoff, was it a penalty?
If the one given in the Women's World Cup is a penalty, in the final. Then the Man United one's a penalty. It's the lack of consistency. Like,
Hoff, was it a penalty?
I'm keeping it consistent all year. I have no idea what the fuck a penalty, a handball, a foul in the box is. Don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. No one, the people that are calling the game don't know what it is. How am I supposed to know what it is?
I'm asking you. What do you think it was?
Ask me.
I'm waiting for Hoff right now. Did you think it was a penalty?
They didn't call it, so it doesn't matter what I think.
Well, obviously it doesn't matter what you think or what I think, but I'm just asking your opinion. You don't have to give it, I guess. Milo, what do you think? Do you think it was a penalty?
Look, I can see why you're upset.
I can see a yes or no question here, guys.
I can see why you're upset.
I'm not
when
upset.
You are. You are, and that's understandable.
I'm upset. It's not given.
Culture's upset.
Are you trying to gaslight me right now? I'm not upset.
No,
I'm asking you.
I find it hilarious that Culture brought up the pre-season victory over Arsenal.
Okay, we can talk about that. We can talk about that.
As a positive, yeah. The winning mentality is off to a great start. No, look, forget all that. The penalty incident, look, obviously, I could see it being given.
So you don't think it's a clear penalty? That's what you're saying, right?
Their official reasoning. I haven't looked at it.
Forget about them. I'm asking you.
Well, you're not letting me finish.
You're saying blah blah blah. Just yes or no. That's all I'm asking.
The official take on it is that his arm was not in an unnatural position and all that stuff. Now, I didn't watch it from every conceivable angle, which I'm sure you have, and rightly so. It's your team.
There was no official take.
I couldn't give two shits whether you got a penalty or not. And
you're making it up.
Does it not serve you a little bit right after the Wolves thing last week? I didn't hear this furore from you last week about Wolves not getting a penalty.
No.
You didn't say a fucking word. You were like, yeah. And now, guess what? It's happened to you, and you're upset about it. Well, there you go. It swings and roundabouts, isn't it? It's football.
It definitely should have been a penalty.
Milo's on his Donald Trump making shit up vibe right now. So you do go ahead, do your thing. Hoff, do you think it was a penalty, you personally?
When I saw it live before the replay, I didn't think it was, and then they showed like the reverse angle, which the official doesn't have. I mean, the match official doesn't have. Obviously, the VAR guy does, and I thought it was. So
okay, thank you. Yes, the answer to my question is yes. And Culture, do you also think it's yes, right? It's a very simple question, guys. I'm not. We can talk more in depth about other things, but I'm just wondering what you guys thought.
Yes, 100% is a penalty, and I'd expect it to be given against
and that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Also, to the Culture, you kind of mentioned it. People calling for Ten Hag's head, right? You know, people are saying, you know, the season's over. Klopp in his first 4 seasons, 0 trophies, 8th place, 4th place, 4th place, and then 2nd place. Arteta in his first 4 seasons, 8th place, 5th place, then 2nd place. Ten Hag in his first season, 3rd place and a trophy, and we've just lost 1 game. So, you know, the people getting all crazy about Ten Hag, just relax, okay? Relax. You know, obviously XG does not win games, we all know, but XG for the game was 1.5 Spurs to 2 for United. There was just some clear-cut chances that we didn't capitalize on, and we really are missing a 9. I was really upset with, obviously, as always, but there was a bit of reaction from Rashford, which I don't think I'm picking on Rashford for this. He's our main man. He's supposed to be our best attacker, and when he came off the pitch, he threw down his socks and this and that, you know, and There were so many occasions where the ball came to him and he just made poor touches, let the ball get away from him. I don't know if he's in some pouty mode where he thinks he should be playing on the wing and he shouldn't be playing striker, and he's feeling sorry for himself. But all of our great attackers in the past, Rooney, Ronaldo, even Nani, they played on the left, right, center. Rooney played in midfield at some points when we didn't have depth, or we didn't have players to play in midfield. Giggs, right, left, middle. This is part of being a Manchester United great for Rashford, and he needs to understand that you're not just gonna play on the left wing and then hunky dory for the rest of my life, left wing, counter target, walk around on defense type of thing. It's not that way, and the attitude, it's an attitude thing with Rashford. And as you guys know, I've said it for many, many weeks. It's all mental, it's all attitude, and it really ticks me off when players act like that.
I feel like you're being a little bit harsh. I think a lot of it is just frustration out of how badly he played, how badly the team were playing, the result, what the performance was like. I think a lot of that throwing of the socks down is annoyed that he's not done what he wanted to do. I think there is an element to it that he wants to play in his favoured position, because all footballers do that, right? That's what I think. But even on the flip side of it, Richarlison got subbed off, and he had been playing in his favoured position, and he still had a tantrum when he got subbed off. And I think it's that attitude of professional footballers that just want to do the best, and when they think they haven't done their best, or the team hasn't done their best, they're just frustrated. It's why people pick up cheap, shitty yellow cards, isn't it? They kick people because they're frustrated.
Sure.
So
yeah, that could be it as well. But I don't know. I still expect more from Rashford.
Me too.
Another interesting stat I saw here was Casemiro has been dribbled past 6 times this season already, and Mason Mount 4, and Bruno Fernandes 7. Other players on this list: Conor Gallagher 3 times, Alexis McAllister 3 times, Bissouma 2 times, Rodri once, Declan Rice once. United topping the list with those 3 alone. I think this new pressing, that Ten Hag is trying to implement is something that may need to be tweaked, because we're struggling with it right now. Last season we started with 2 defeats, and then the 3rd game was against Liverpool, and we turned up for that. We changed our formation, or we changed our play style. With, instead of playing out of the back with De Gea, we started playing long, etc. We have a game next week, and then we have Arsenal. I'm curious to see if Ten Hag tries it again this next week, and then if it doesn't work, then we switch it up for Arsenal, or if we switch it up next week, because that would be the 3rd game of the season, as we did last year. But yeah, I think at the beginning of last year, Ten Hag was trying to play a system with players who didn't fit it, I think on purpose, like you mentioned, Cultured. And I think he's doing the same. He might be doing the same thing now, maybe trying to ask Casemiro to press high, similar to in the Community Shield when Thomas Partey was asked to press high and Phil Foden kind of dribbled past him, and which created the goal. This could be, I feel like Casemiro is more similar to Partey in that sense, and the pressing, maybe why Partey is playing right back for some of these games. But we'll see if he tweaks things next week, or maybe against Arsenal. But then after Arsenal, we have a quote unquote, obviously in the Premier League, no easy games, but we have an easier run after Arsenal. So I'll be curious to see how things go next week. And the XG just screams we need a goal scorer. Just
for the record, I was hoping for a draw in this game. Being the teams that we're playing. I also would like you to get a win in your next game, because like last season we faced a United that was under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of threat, and then we ended up losing that game. Although that one was at Old Trafford and this one is at the Emirates, so I do still think it may favour us. But obviously we'll get to Arsenal when we get to that segment. But I thought I did watch the game. I just didn't watch the replays over and over. But Tottenham looked good for it over the 90 minutes. So yeah. Interesting. Keep an eye on them. I think half question for you with Angie. Obviously off to a good start, and you'll be happy about that. The football being played is slightly different. Yeah. Which you've obviously spoke about how you're happy about that. I guess my question to you is, you've got to see if that I hate to use the word, but I don't. The Spursiness of it is gone under Angie. So like, you'd have these spells of winning games, getting quite good results, but then you'd go on a losing run, or you'd unexpectedly lose to someone that perhaps you shouldn't have, and you know what I mean? Like, do you think, are you seeing enough to believe that is behind you, or is it just too early to tell? I think
the mentality is still changing. But I think in an ideal world, if they're playing like 100% Ange ball, I think that would be eliminated, if that makes sense. And that's ideally, like, you'll have some guys that I don't know, like, if it's mentality, physically, they just can't like do it. Like Eric Dyer's on the bench. Or, sorry, not on the bench. He's in the stands. He hasn't made the squad yet. And like, he was rumored to be one of the top choices for captain. This was before Kane was leaving, and we actually needed a new captain. But like, he's had a very good relationship with the club and fans, and I don't think that I think some of the players that liked playing under Mourinho, like playing under Conte, they're not playing right now. So I don't think that is a like a mystery why it's different. I mean, obviously there's some of the players are the same, but most of them aren't. Højbjerg's not playing as much. He came on a little bit toward the end of this match. Dyer's on the bench. Lenglet's gone. Praise be. Who else is gone? Well, Kane is gone, but I'm not blaming him for what it looked like under Conte, because he did everything he could.
But you mentioned earlier, right? Bassuma's the big one.
Oh yeah, Bassuma's night and day.
Coming in and playing, it's amazing.
He couldn't get a game under Conte, and to be fair, he was injured a decent amount of time. But even when he was fit, he couldn't buy time under Conte. And now under Ange, like, he's like the main. He's the central part of that midfield.
Yeah, we had to actually man mark him out of the game for the first half. That's how dangerous he was. But and I thought when we had him under control, we had a decent hold of your build up. But I mean, the goal you scored was just unbelievable tracking back by us on the wing there. It was just poor defending by Garnacho.
Sarr just went through like 3 defenders, and I think Casemiro was the last one, if I remember correctly. And I just see him and looking like, oh shit, he's behind me.
Yep. But yeah, decent game though. It was a good game, at least, you know. You know, it was a good game. Penalty would have changed everything. All right, back to the back to the start. No, but it was at 0-0, guys. It was at 0-0, the penalty.
I mean, those decisions do often make or break a game, but I think over the 90, I saw enough from Tottenham to think that they would still win that.
Yeah, I mean, and also with XG, right? You can see it there that United had their opportunities and we missed them. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's football.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Ange is winning manager of the season this year. Ads is
all over Tottenham. I feel like Ads is a closet Spurs fan.
You got it now.
Who is Ads? I know he's a Celtic fan, but does he have a British team? I guess Tottenham.
Tottenham.
You just got to be.
I think it's Tottenham.
Just got to be careful. This is still a honeymoon period for Ange. You don't know how the players are going to react to his fitness, his training. Is it too much? Are they not used to it? Like, there's a lot of games to go. I think he's going to be really good, but you've got to be wary.
You do have to be wary of the honeymoon period for sure.
Yeah. I think Sam has kept teams up just in a honeymoon period.
We've all seen our clubs have a manager that has gone through a honeymoon period. We've all seen it, right? The new manager bounce, exactly. That's what it's known as, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think I watched Spurs' first preseason match live.
That was against West Ham, that mental game, wasn't it? Yeah, mental game.
That game, and that was my first introduction to Ange, and it was great. I really enjoyed it.
It's the kind of football that Tottenham would have played, you know, when I was growing up, but you know, to take that and win things is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
I think the thing that will hold you back from that might not be Ange, it will be Levy. You know what I mean? It's a difficult one.
Yeah.
I think Ange won't take Levy's shit though. That's the difference.
Yeah.
If Levy starts fucking him around, I think Ange will be like, there will be plenty of clubs that will give me a chance. So
maybe Kane was like the final straw, you know, like not the final straw, but like the transfer that kind of switches things, you know, for Spurs, you know, like
but it's like they had peak Kane, peak whoever when they got the bail money off, right? And by bail money, I don't mean someone was in prison.
Oh, yeah, Champions League final. They ended up at.
I mean the Gareth Bale money, but that Gareth Bale money was
with
yeah.
And then Kane came after because Soldado couldn't score the whorehouse.
So, but it was like it was somewhat of a waste of that money, I thought.
Yeah. So, and Eriksson was really the only one that panned out of that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Arsenal. Arsenal made it 2 wins from 2 after hard-fought 1-0 win over Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Martin Odegaard put the Gunners ahead from the spot after Eddie Nketiah was fouled, but the last stage of the game was difficult after a nonsense sending off from Takehiro Tomiyasu. I didn't watch the game. I caught some of the highlights after Milo. What were your thoughts about the game, and how did it pan out?
Yeah, I did watch the game. I was lucky enough to be working from home today, so I watched the entire thing. Again, you know, I thought the first half, both teams had their chances. I think Arsenal edged it. We had the possession, we had the play. I think this lineup is, you know, I question the lineup again going into this one. So Gabriel on the bench once more, Ben White and Saliba at centre back. Saliba, by the way, made a fantastic, good old-fashioned centre-back tackle. If you haven't seen it, I'm not sure if it was in the highlight reel. I just love it. I played centre-back. I love that tackle. Please go watch it. Great tackle. You just don't see enough of that anymore because of the risk of penalty. Anyway, not to go on about that too much, but anyway, you had Vardy on the right, and then Tomiyasu chose on the left. Tierney left out the squad, so I imagine that Tierney may be on his way out. It's been rumored kind of all summer. Zinchenko coming back from an injury, obviously, was on the bench today and did come on to help us see out the game, which I suspect had we been winning comfortably, Zinchenko wouldn't have come on at all. I think, but seeing him back in the squad now, Tomiyasu will most likely serve a suspension anyway. I expect Zinchenko will start the next game and will start to take a bit more familiar shape in that back line. Because whatever way you look at it, from me, I know he wants Partey to invert when we're in possession. From me, you've got 2 players playing out of position in your back 4. That is something you can't sustain over the course of a Premier League season and expect to get where you want to get to. I don't think that that's sustainable. And I do think part of it is forced. I mean, Gabriel, I wonder if there's a slight fitness issue there, and that's why it's been happening, because I do wonder about that. And he's been coming on. He came on for the last 20 minutes against Forest. He's also been linked with Real Madrid. I don't know if you've seen that. He has come out and said he's happy at Arsenal, yada, 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 because they're obviously looking for a Militao replacement with the ACL injury. So that side of it, apart from that, defensively, you know, like I say, that doesn't give me confidence moving forward. I wasn't surprised Ramsdale kept the start, because I think he has to make a mistake in order for Raya to take the opportunity to be number 1. Further up the pitch, Eddie Nketiah did win the penalty. That's one. I mean, we talked about this 1 year before, and I know it's one of those where you knock it round the keeper, but there's no chance he's getting to that. but it is contact. So I think you're in agreement. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Please tell me. Like,
you want me to give you a yes or no, straightforward yes or no answer? No, is that what it is?
No, you don't have to give me a yes or no.
It was a penalty.
Okay, for you, it's a penalty. Yeah, And like I get it. It is a penalty, but I don't like that a player can knock the ball past a keeper out of play, make sure there's contact, and guarantee that. I just don't like that. I don't think that. I think they should be reviewed in their own right. But anyway, it is what it is. We got the penalty.
May I respond to that real quick?
Sure.
I understand you don't like that, and I also I haven't really decided whether I like it or not. But based on the rules that we have now, it's that's what I'm judging it on. It's a penalty. That's all. I'm not saying you have to like it that it's a penalty. I'm not necessarily saying I like that it's a penalty. I'm just saying it is a penalty. You know, and if it's not called, that's a mistake, in my opinion. Not that it's, you know, some common sense, or, you know, back when I played it wouldn't be a penalty, so I'm happy they didn't call it today. No, it's a penalty. It's a penalty. And I understand the referee has discretion, and that's my problem with the rules, that if there is a smidgen of doubt about it, they have the opportunity to say no, it's not a penalty. But for me, contact, goalkeeper's too slow. Eddie Nketiah's faster. He trains all of his life to be fast. That's his thing. He touches it past the keeper catches him, it's a foul. Sorry, Cultured, go ahead.
What happens if that ball's already gone out for what would have been a goal kick?
When the contact happened? I mean, again, I think you're going to look at them in their own right.
Because if the player isn't reaching the ball, why is it a penalty?
That's an because it's the goalkeeper taking out a player.
Yeah.
So, no, I get that.
Cartwheel is right. And
it is. I'm not saying it's
a penalty. It is a
penalty.
I understand you don't like it. I understand you don't like it.
It's one of the things in football that bugs me, where you can guarantee that contact almost. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that side of it, I don't like. Obviously, I was happy it was given, but you know. Anyway, so
I'm at the stage where I'm defending Arsenal goals now. You know, like I can't because I'm accused of being biased. Otherwise, I have to literally defend my quote unquote rivals teams in order to have my point heard. Because if this was switched around and it was a United player, Eddie Nketiah, I'd just be accused of bias. Simple. You know what I mean? This is just crazy. Go ahead.
Continue. First of all, your rivals are a team in blue that are in the same city as you. Just so
yeah. Okay.
You should worry about them more. But anyway, moving on from that, Eddie wins the penalty. Odegaard tucks it away. Lovely. And at this point, I thought, I thought we'd probably go on to get another goal or two. And Palace were fairly organised. If you look at their home record last year, by the way, it's really good. I don't know if any of you have taken a look at it, but it's really, really good. They're very good at home. I think they lost 3 or 4 games at Selhurst Park last year, which in the Premier League is really good. Like, I think there are a number of people will be surprised by Palace and how they play at home. But I do think we would have gone on to win it. Now, the sending off changed everything. I was like, well, that's a dumb sending off on the player. But then someone pointed out to me, and I was working and watching, right? So somebody pointed out to me that actually it was Havertz and Arteta that wasted the time. And then they gave the ball to Tomiyasu. This is for the second yellow card, by the way. And Tomiyasu got booked for the time wasting, which really was bullshit. It should have been Arteta or Havertz that got the booking. And even his first yellow, I don't know if you saw it, I don't think it was a yellow. I think it was more of a dive. So the either way, the team got punished for time wasting, which I'm okay with that. I don't want the team to time waste. I don't want to see time wasting. It's one of the reasons I like the World Cup format of extra time, is because I don't like time wasting. I've complained about it endlessly on this show. So we paid the price for that, and then we had to dig in deep and grind out the win, hence the title of this segment. But and again, we talked about this last year. There are going to be games where you have to grind out a win, and this was one of them, and I will take those 3 points and move on. But I really would like to see the team light the tires a bit more against Fulham next week at home.
Absolutely. I watched a clip of all of Declan Rice's touches. He looked like he played very well as well. He looked like he had a great game. Great, almost assist for Nketiah. Oh, he did.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
He got man of the match. I was going to mention him. I thought Declan's best game for us. Obviously, he hasn't played that many, but it was a really, really strong performance, and one that box to box. I thought he was fantastic, and that's exactly what I hoped to see from him when we signed him. That's why I was quite excited about it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I wasn't able to follow the game too closely, but I did watch Declan Rice's all of his touches, and the Tomiyasu one. Didn't he get his second card for pulling someone down, or Jordan Ayew down, or something? Or was that his first one?
I think that was the first one, right? Because
okay. I didn't see the time wasting one then.
Again, if you watch that, there's not a lot in that, but I can understand it. Okay, whatever. Like a yellow was given, that's fine. But the second one was kind of ludicrous. I do wonder if Arsenal could or appeal it, but Arteta in his post-match conference just said, "I'm going to move on."
You can't. Yeah, you can't appeal 2 yellows.
Yeah, that's right.
If it's sending off by 2 yellows, you can't appeal.
That's right. Only a straight red.
It's an interesting one because Jordan Ayew did something similar, I think, where he was already on a yellow card, and there was a bit of ball fondling for a throw-in or a free kick or something, and he had to get that in there, and he didn't get booked. He got a warning from the referee, and I don't know if it was because the ref had warned Arteta and Havertz when they were sort of messing around with it, and then Tomiyasu took a little bit too long. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one to get right. I think it was a bit of a bullshit second yellow. At the time.
It was, and realistically, if you watch that back, it should have been Arteta or Havertz that got a yellow, because they are the ones that time wasted. They had the ball for 15 seconds or something, and then Tomiyasu had it for 8, or somebody did the math. I saw anyway, but
probably Arteta.
No, this was unrelated. This was a different fan that was talking about it. But so for me, lineup wise as well, I want to touch upon. He's going with this Eddie Havertz. Havertz was one of his ineffective games today. Now, I do think that part of that is the way that Palace organized themselves in that area of the park. They made it very difficult for Havertz to have any influence in his strength. So if we can't play to his strengths, in my opinion, Arteta has to be prepared to change the game plan straight away. Because if it's not going to work, using Havertz in the role you want him to, it's useless. You might as well. I'd much rather see Trossard in there. I'd much rather see Emil Smith-Rowe in there for a bit of dynamism. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes a game needs a spark. That's not what you're getting from Havertz. We know this. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I really hope that with Zinchenko coming back, I hope to see Zinchenko, Gabriel Saliba, and White return to defense, because I think I would prefer that over what I'm seeing, and then have Partey and Rice both playing. I think Partey's played very well in this position, to be honest, for the most part. So I've got no issue with him being there, but I don't think we're playing our strongest lineup right now, and that concerns me a little bit.
On the flip side, you're not playing your strongest lineup, and you got to win. That's good. And also, just like you said, the way Palace play kind of stifled Havertz's expression on the ball. Same way, I think this may, that's when having players in midfield like Declan Rice will flourish, right? That they sit back so deep, you're going to have a lot of space for players like Declan Rice. And that's why having such a balanced team is so important, which Arsenal have,
This is true. And Havertz's best moments, I jokingly said maybe he's a closet TMF, because his best moments came when we were down to 10 men and he dropped deep. I mean, he's a big body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's a tall guy.
He did a job, and he was on the edge of the box, taking, he ran a couple of balls out of defense, right on the edge of the box. And I'm like, this has been the best he's played all day, is when we're down to 10 men and everyone, we went full defensive mode, which has often backfired on us in the past. Palace didn't really threaten during that spell either. Not greatly.
I've got a question, and not just because it affected my fantasy football team, but why didn't Saka take the penalty? He's your penalty taker.
I know, and that's why
Irritating.
I've got Odegaard and Saka in my Premier League team.
Unbelievable.
Arteta was asked about that in the post-match conference. He said it was a surprise to him as well. He expected Saka to take it, but he said, "I'm all for allowing the leaders on the field to take over a moment if they feel it's necessary." And I guess Odegaard said, "I'd like to take it," and as club captain, Saka said, "Okay."
Yeah, I was just interested because it happened in the Everton. I know, sorry to go slightly off topic, but the Everton Villa game as well. Is that Ollie Watkins normally their penalty taker, but Douglas Luiz took it and scored. And I didn't know if I was trying to think around because Arsenal used to have that thing, right? That if you were fouled, you didn't take the penalty. I don't know if Villa are doing that because Ollie Watkins got fouled, but Nketiah got fouled, so I still didn't know why Saka didn't take the penalty.
They've done that, and they've also done that. If you're fouled, you take the penalty. They've done it both ways.
They've done it all. They've done it all. Yeah.
Listen, Odegaard has been a fabulous player for the last 12 months plus. So, and he's the captain. You know, if he wants it and Saka's okay with it, I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
The important thing is it ended up in the back of the net.
In celebrations, Odegaard went, pointed straight at Saka on that one too.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of that.
There's some good camaraderie there for sure.
Yeah, I mean the highlights they showed, Declan Rice, cheering hard, at the full-time whistle. Sounds like it was a rough last 30 minutes.
It definitely was. Definitely was. But it wasn't, it never really was full panic mode. I don't think.
Yeah, I heard there was a Thomas Partey potential foul on Eze or something. Oh, Hoff, you know this one? No, maybe.
I was thinking Eze just dribbled into the box, cut back around Declan Rice and squeezed in between Rice and Partey. And it looked like Partey stuck his foot out, and he didn't trip him, but he ran into his foot. If that makes sense, he didn't initiate contact, but Eze ran into his foot, went down, and they didn't. I think David Coote was the ref, and he just said throw in.
There was a VAR check. There was a VAR check
as well. Yeah. I mean that one again. We've seen him given, right? Mm-hmm. I will say that we've seen him give. For me, it wasn't a penalty, but I got accused of having rose-tinted glasses earlier when I said that. So I am, it is what it is.
I mean, your track record just from this episode is, little.
No,
you're just salty because United got turned over by Tottenham.
I'm not.
You are.
I think
we can all agree. I can hear it in your voice.
We can all agree the inconsistencies are awful.
Yeah.
That's what we can all agree.
Culture, did you know that Cartwheel left his own Discord at the weekend after that Tottenham result?
I did not leave my own Discord. I did not leave my own Discord.
It's all right. Because of the time difference, I can just pretend I'm asleep, so I don't have to put up with anything. It's
That's
fine.
right, yeah.
So, yeah.
No, the handball was clear. It's just anyone who thinks it wasn't a mistake by the refs is just a hater. AKA
it's the same as Onana's one, right?
My
Huge
final
mistake from the ref. Yeah.
My final comment on the easy incident half was that I guess he just went down too easy.
If you had said Eze and then said gone down too easy, it would have been better.
I call him easy anyway.
Oh, okay.
Just easy. It's easy.
Partey can't be sticking his leg out like that. That's all I gotta say. You stick your leg out, that's a mistake. That's just a mistake. Should be punished.
It's going to be interesting when they have their review of the referees and stuff about consistency. It's because it's not easy for them. I know it's not. So
they're afraid. They're afraid of making the right call because of backlash from Arsenal fans and United fans.
I was going to say,
any fan base, the backlash period. Arsenal fans are very, very famous for that.
They are paid to do a job. I'm just going to gloss over the comment you just made. They are paid to do that job, and they got to do it. There's nothing else. There's nothing simpler than that. They're paid very well.
If the on-field ref thinks it's not a penalty, that is totally fine. But VAR shouldn't be in a position where it can't. I don't know. It's going back to when we first talked about it ages ago, right? I think with the World Cup, when it was like they don't want to disagree with their mates on the pitch. And it seems like we're going back. How that Andre Onana one wasn't a penalty. He's literally clattered that Wolves striker, like not touching the ball, going for the ball but not touching it. It's the same as Nketiah's one, right? He's gone for the ball and not touched the ball, so it's a penalty. It's just the inconsistency when you have VAR.
Did say that was a penalty last week too.
Yeah. And earlier you said I didn't say that, by the way. You vehemently said that I did not say that, by the way, earlier.
Yeah, it's just for the views, for the segment.
Okay.
For anger.
All right. Sure. Also, there is a case. There was a case to be made for Onana in that situation.
No, there's not.
I disagree with it.
Please tell me the case. Yeah.
The guy he hit was not involved in the play of the ball. That's the whole thing. It was like collision off the ball, basically. That's the idea, and goalkeepers get a little more freedom in those situations than outfield players. That was the case. I'm not saying it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
But a handball is a handball. I don't know. It's a little different. My
annoyance with the handball one is when you watch. I don't know if we're going to talk about the Women's World Cup final, but when you see the one that was given against England, in that was even closer. Her arm was even closer to her side, and it's brushed her fingertips, and that was given as a penalty. I'm like, that's so. And it doesn't matter if it's women's football, men's football. The handball rule is the handball rule. It clearly shows, like Hoff was saying, that no one knows. No one really understands what is handball and what isn't handball. Like, just make it. If it hits your arm, if it hits your hand, it's a handball. Intentional distance doesn't matter. That's going to be the easiest way to do it.
Interesting in chat then, yeah. Like Ads makes a point here. If that's an off the ball incident, then Cart, by what you're saying. So technically a red card offense.
Well, it would. I think a yellow card would have been appropriate. Yeah.
But it would be an off the ball contact. So it would
might as well have punched him.
But I don't think it was reckless. Off the ball.
Yeah, but I think
it was reckless. I don't think it was violent.
I think it was reckless. Yeah.
You think it was reckless? I thought he was trying to play the ball.
Near the ball.
No. I thought he was trying to play the ball. Like that's.
He's trying to. Well, yeah, but that's like a slide tackle, right? You're trying to play the ball, but it can be reckless but not violent.
Right. Maybe
it can be reckless because
it was a mistimed. It was a mistimed tackle,
but
but it wasn't like going into someone's knee or something like that with studs up.
No, exactly.
Like McAllister, for example. Did you guys see the McAllister red card?
I did. Yeah.
I did.
How did you guys feel about that one?
Great, because it's Liverpool. I mean,
I'll be in the minority here. Go ahead. I know what you guys will say. Go ahead.
Objectively, I don't. It's a tough one where it is a red card offence, but it probably shouldn't be a red card offence because there's nothing violent about it. He's trying to block the ball. Everyone, if you've played football, you know that you go in like that to try and block the ball, and he's just caught his feet, but caught his studs, his shin. Sorry,
my first take on that was a red. I saw it twice. I was watching the highlights, so I saw it like the highlight unfold, and they showed one replay of it, and my initial reaction was a red, studs up, all that. We know you can't studs up into the leg at momentum, all the rest of it.
But you've played football, right? You also can't block the ball. If you're going to block them passing, you can't block it any other way. I agree with you, by the way. When I saw it live in real time, I said that's definitely a red card. And I saw the replays and then was like, there's nothing else McAllister could have done. It's not reckless. He's not actually being violent towards the ball.
I think we have to be careful though, because there are certain types of challenges, might not be violent, might not be intent behind it. We still have to punish certain things, that because we don't want other people to see and go, okay, you can do that. Like, you remember when it first started being a red card, when you basically went over the top of the ball into somebody's foot or whatever, like, and then it became like a thing, like you're going over the ball to the man. And like that almost became an instant red. And like, I do think we have to protect the players a little bit from certain things. And if studs up is that referee's, if that's his line, then McAllister crossed it there.
Yeah, surprisingly, Milo, we completely agree. But now this will bring up inconsistencies in your philosophy now, because
we've agreed at least twice.
Okay.
First of all, in the 3 years we've known each other, so that's
okay. No,
That's a great ratio, chaps. That's a great ratio. Yeah.
The inconsistency is now: do you want goalkeepers making challenges they cannot make, where they cannot win the ball in the box, right? If you're saying you don't want people to make tackles studs up, which I completely agree, by the way. I think this call by the ref, I'm not sure who it was. I think Paul Tierney was on VAR. That's all I remember, because Liverpool fans hate him apparently. The on-field ref made the call. He said it was studs up. It was slightly high. It was on the shin. I wouldn't say it was. Liverpool fans clipping photos of the contact when it's near his ankle, whatever. Obviously they're gonna clip that. But he clearly goes high on the shin. He goes in studs up. Sure. Is there a lot of force in it? No. But just like Milo said, it sets a precedent for the type of tackles we want kids making, we want other professionals making, and it's just not right. Now, I think that in the future, this will be a clear red. How far in the future, I don't know. But it's a clear red in the future, in my mind, for the way I want calls to be made, which is strict, because that's the only way you're going to get consistency. But right now, it could go either way.
Could go either way.
And that's the frustrating part.
And that could come down to that referee or that VAR referee's view on the intent and everything else behind it. But going back to your question about the goalkeeper side, I think every incident is reviewable in its own right. I don't necessarily always like to say, well, let's compare that Eddie incident with this incident. I think each incident is its own incident and merits its own review. Do you know what I mean? That's
why we have all these problems, because of that philosophy.
Yeah.
You have to draw the line somewhere. You cannot go studs up, and you can go studs up. Just make sure to God you do not touch that player. You can go studs up. Go studs up. Just do not touch the opponent. If you touch the opponent and his studs are up, that's a foul.
Somebody
possible red card offense.
Somebody bookmark the chat here, because when Liverpool play Palace away, I really want to make sure I'm remembering this conversation.
I
marked all over us.
I marked when Cultured said ball fondling or something. I marked it in the chat, and I also marked this McAllister penalty chat as well. But let's move on. Let's do this. Before we move on from the Premier League, is there any other? There was the Chelsea, the City. I mean, we could talk Chelsea too. City Newcastle game, which was dull as hell for me.
I thought it was really dull. I was looking forward to that game as well.
Me too. But Newcastle, playing for the win against Man City, you have to kind of dumb it down. And okay, I'm not going to. Does anyone else have comments about this? Otherwise, this, City fans will.
I'm disappointed because I had Isak and Haaland up front in my FPL team.
I did have Haaland as well. Yeah.
Good lord.
But it was a beautiful goal from Julian Alvarez. Worthy goal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Newcastle are definitely going into this season, I think, with let's really try and beat the teams we should beat. And if we get points off the other top six, then we're going to finish in the top four. That's how I think they're playing this year.
It's interesting that Pep Guardiola tuned into the 91st minute last year, as it was known as the wrap-up, because he listened to me talk about Alvarez and how he should be playing. And
hashtag free Alvarez.
And clearly, Greg, you can thank me later for that, because clearly it worked.
He's filling in for De Bruyne very nicely, though. It's really cool how they're playing him in that De Bruyne spot. Also playing with
De Bruyne, by the way.
Do you?
I think this is the beginning of the end. I think this is his second or third relatively. This is obviously a massive injury, but it's his second or third injury. He's played a lot of minutes, for his age, sort of thing. He's been absolutely fantastic, but I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back at the end of this season and Man City cash in, especially if Saudi are still spending loads of cash and he wants to go, obviously. But I think this is going to show that City can cope without him, and Pep will come up with a system without him. He's really good.
He's a wee ginger lad. He's not going to do well in that sunshine. He's going to be burnt to a crisp. He'll be burnt to a crisp, and his freckles will be sticking out.
To be fair, I'd say it doesn't matter because it's evening games, but he's so ginger, the floodlights will probably do the same to him. So, like, yeah.
Let's talk about the Chelsea West Ham game a little bit. 3-1 win for West Ham at home. Interesting game. Chelsea similar. Maybe similar situation to United, but they, Nicholas Jackson, for all his work rate and whatnot up top, isn't putting the type of number 9 performance you want out of him. Obviously, they have a lot of injuries as well, but I don't know. I thought it was
he's just a shit Eddie and catcher is going to start ringing the terraces. Stamford Bridge.
Might do. Did you guys see any of that game though?
I did. I watched it.
Oh, nice.
I absolutely love. As you guys know, I love James Ward-Prowse, and he's shown why a team better than West Ham should have bought him. Yes. First game, 2 assists, one of them's a set piece. I mean, it's like, or was both of them a set piece? No, one was a set piece. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Football is at the point where they have set piece coaches. So why don't you buy someone that's really good at set pieces? I can't understand why it took West Ham for 30 million to buy him. I would have taken him at Man United for 30 million. I would have taken him over Mason Mount. If there was a choice between Mason Mount and James Ward-Prowse, obviously I would have picked James Ward-Prowse. I don't know what most Man United fans would have done. But Chelsea are looking better under Poch, but it looks their squad's still too unbalanced. I mean, they've signed 3 central. They needed central midfielders, so they've gone and signed basically 3 of the same central midfielder.
Everyone that plays in that position that was available has been signed by them.
And Casido looked absolutely awful.
Dreadful, yeah.
He looked.
I'm gonna disagree.
He had a really bad game.
What? Casido
I'm gonna disagree. I think Casido had a decent performance. He first off, they're down 2-1 and they bring on Caicedo. It's like what do you expect? You're chasing a goal. They're gonna be exposed at the back. It's like you're putting him in a situation where he can't win. First off, at the end of the game, he's trying to win the ball back for his team to get a counter, and he concedes a penalty. Fine, but I thought he was good on the ball. He gave away the ball a couple times, a couple weird touches, new system. He's playing the lone anchor role by himself. I don't think it was as bad as people are saying. But yeah, it wasn't ideal.
It's easy to meme it, right? There's no doubt, right?
I'm out of the meme game. Well,
for now, but
for now, yeah.
and Liverpool fans are leading the meme charge, right?
Of course they are. The most emotional fan base on earth.
Just the facts between you and them. That's between you and them.
I'm really sorry. That performance was utter wank.
It was pretty bad.
He could have cost 10 million. I'd say it was wank. Like, he couldn't pass the ball. He lost it loads. When you bring someone on and you're 2-1 down, you want them to keep the ball and not do anything stupid to get your team up the pitch. He was awful in that game.
To Cartwheel's point, or was it? I think it was Cartwheel. It might have been Cultured. The Chelsea, the squad. Like, I admire Poch's management style quite a bit. But he's been given the reins of something that didn't have any kind of plan, right?
Yeah.
Get this piece, that piece, this piece, that piece, this piece. Bang, there you go. Make it happen. And it just reeks of that at the moment. It doesn't mean they won't turn it around by Christmas or whatever, but yeah, right now they've got a lot of pieces to fit into a system that, yeah, it's going to be a struggle.
Already, to add on to that, he's already kind of distanced himself from like all the transfer stuff. I think that someone asked him post match if they were planning on more purchases or whatever. And he said, yeah, they're looking at it. They, like a bunch of they in his answer, which also happened at near the end of his Spurs tenure. Not saying that he's going to get sacked tomorrow or anything, but earlier in his Spurs tenure, he's like, we, us, togetherness. And already at Chelsea, he's like them, they. pronouns that aren't referring to himself.
Poach, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Mudrick
look,
as well. Awful again.
Yeah.
Dropped from my FPL team, Carl. I suggest you do.
I didn't see that. I didn't see the whole game, so I just saw I saw all of Caicedo's touches. You know, yeah. There was a couple of mix-ups at the back, but he made some great forward passes, cleaned up the ball, made tackles. You know, he hasn't played for two months or something. I thought it was decent for a disjointed Chelsea team, but you know. Yeah, it wasn't a perfect debut, but I think the backlash I saw on Twitter compared to what I actually saw wasn't that bad. But you know, that's how Twitter goes, and that's how trolls do the thing.
If you're 100 mil, you're an easy scapegoat for everybody.
No.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm on record saying both Rice and Caicedo aren't worth 100 mil. You know, they're both overinflated. Enzo's overinflated as well. I mean. You know, it's a crazy market for DMs right now. But anyways, yeah. Any other Premier League games we want to chat about before we move on to the roundup?
Everton are still shit.
Everton. We'll talk a bit of Saudi. Damari Gray going to Saudi from Everton as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, Endo came on for Liverpool. Nice little debut, by the way.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, Endo came on.
Nice.
I was just going to say on the Everton are shit comment. Tyrone Mings being injured will be a blessing in disguise for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Going to put that out there because Pau Torres will go to left centre back and they'll bring on Digne. Will start more games at left back when his crossing was brilliant against Everton, and then when Moreno's back, it will mean he'll go to left back and not Pau Torres. So I think.
See, Coutinho came on and got injured again, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
really bad.
Apparently. Yeah, really torn hamstring, I think it was. They said.
Talk some injuries.
So that's him. Well. He'll retire due to injury, I think. So
maybe.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right, let's move on to our next segment. Okay, you ready, Val?
I'm ready. I'm waiting for you.
Okay.
Waiting for you. All right. Welcome to the 91st Minute Roundup. A new segment this week. Just a few things that we want to talk about, but maybe didn't have time or content for the whole, a full segment. So first off, Cultured Leffer had posted in our Discord, which you can join. No love for the Saudi League. So guys, average attendance of 6,700 people, give or take. More people, Culture said, were inside Old Trafford for game 1 of the Premier League season than all of the Saudi games combined. So is it, as Cartwheel called it, the sport of their people? What do you think?
No.
No.
Culture says no.
It's the whole point of, well, not the whole point of buying these players was to get fans, right? We know that's not the case. There's going to be television marketing that I didn't have the stats for the TV and things, but the fact that Wrexham pulled a bigger fan base at the stadium than the average Saudi attendance in stadiums for the first week of the season was ridiculous, in my opinion, when they've gone and spent all of that money.
Do you think that's the Ryan Reynolds factor, though? Like, there isn't really a Saudi Arabian Ryan Reynolds.
No, but I think it's Wrexham. It's still Wrexham. It's still like 7,000 people, and that's bigger than the average attendance when Saudi have got Ronaldo, Mane. Who else have they? They're all dead to me now anyway. But all those players. It's like. It's sort of like, it's not what's the point, because we've talked around why Saudi are doing it, but it's either they're not making it, it's still now not viable for the average person to go and see it, which is what you guys touched on last week, right? With the average cost of football, it seems like in Saudi it might be too expensive. But if you're not drawing in local fans to watch the game, then what is it all about? And it's got to be trying to get the World Cup bid in 2042. And that's all it's I don't know. So, you guys might have a different take on it, but I thought that was outstanding. Those stats just blew my mind. That more people went to go and see Man United v Wolves than the whole of the first weekend of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, I think it's just a glass half full, glass half empty. I choose to look at things glass half full. Unfortunately, we don't have the TV numbers, and we just went through a COVID period, which showed us that we don't need fans in the stadium for a league to, generate hype and generate, viewership and whatnot. I'm not gonna say the small stats I looked up was on UEFA or FIFA has like a ELO, or a certain sports tracking website has an ELO, which is basically the strength of the league. It comes in at 36th in the world. The MLS is at 29th. Premier League is at 1st. It's in quality top to bottom. It's still not there. Obviously, it has a lot of star power. I don't know what the goal is as far as in stadium attendance and whatnot, but I do think that it is a TV viewership goal here, right? I don't think Messi's games, the stadium capacity is 30. Obviously, he's selling them out, but look at the average MLS game between a random team and a random team. It's probably not going to be very high. So you're trying to compare it to the Premier League and a 70,000 seat stadium where football has been developed there since 18 something, over 100 years, over 120 years, and that's the thing. That's the glass half full take that I think we need to look at Saudi with, is that they are looking at a long-term project, right? And even if you do think of it as sports washing, it's a move away from oil to tourism. And part of their tourism will be the inclusion of sports and famous sports stars from around the world playing in their country, which people could come and watch potentially. But I don't know if judging it just based on in-person attendance is a good barometer as far as they just want the World Cup. I think they are trying to make their game better, and I think they enjoy the game. Maybe they are just too used to illegally streaming games like many people in chat here. They're just used to sitting at home at home on their laptop streaming games like many people in chat. Not me, but many people in chat. That's
Hoff had a point to make, I think.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I think it'll be interesting to see if those attendance numbers go up, because you're right. I don't think it's a barometer of how well the league's performing, a great barometer for how well the league is performing overall. I think it's a perfect barometer to see how the game is growing within the Saudi population, which is, I know I've talked about it with MLS, like growing support and talent for the U.S. national team. If the Saudi league is growing, like with academies, just growing talent, popularity within the Saudi national team, that's where I would equate the importance of the attendance, like getting families, kids to the games and seeing these stars, and eventually Saudi homegrown stars.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
My next follow-up just on this point while we're talking about it, obviously the money is a big factor for footballers that go. Are there footballers that might not go because of a lack of atmosphere? I mean, you've got 20,000 seater stadiums pulling 1,000 fans. What do you think the money's
I hate to say it, but I don't think that's factoring into their decision to go there at all right now. I think it's purely how many zeros are at the end of my paycheck.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think that's where it is. I mean, I mean, you all make good points on it. I mean, look, it's something we'll keep an eye on. We'll move on because we're gonna call this a roundup. We got to get through a few topics, but like we will keep an eye on this because it is of interest to us and everyone else. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Next up, I got Reece James injured again. We probably could have touched upon it in the Chelsea chat we just had, but that was kind of for the live show. So probably out for 6 weeks at least. Hamstring injury, and then Chelsea go and lose to West Ham, as we discussed.
Have you seen a video of him and Harry Kane doing yoga in England kits on England camp? So there was this whole I was researching this topic, and there was this whole thing about how Reece James does not take yoga seriously, and that is why he's getting injured. Because Reece James has this physique that's very much like almost like an American football player. He's very much a straight line player, almost like speed, sprints, and power, right? And his whole thesis in the article was that he needs to work on his flexibility, his joints, movements, and things like that, because apparently all of his injuries have been centered around this type of thing. It's an interesting idea. Maybe it's not pure genetics. Maybe it's something he's not doing in preparation for matches in his body.
Yeah, a bad week for the family, really, because didn't his sister get sent off in the World Cup semi-final as well?
She got sent off in the quarters, missed the semi, and then came on in the final.
That's right. Yeah.
She was actually really good in the final. But Reece James, tough one for Chelsea. A newly appointed club captain, hasn't played this season, injured again. Yeah, it's going to be such a good footballer as well. It's a shame.
Yeah,
it's not a good look.
Yeah. Half-Ended, you got any comments on Reece James? You're good.
I think it was a couple years ago, I mentioned that he was going to be the reason that Trent didn't get more caps for England, and talent-wise, I stand behind that, but the dude just can't stay on the field. Like, there's a saying that availability is the best ability, and he's just not available, and it's unfortunate because he's super talented.
Darren Anderton syndrome, we call that, Hoff.
Yep.
I've got a little list of players who were kind of stunted by injury. I've got Anderson, the Brazilian, for United.
Okay. Jack Wilshere
Jack Wilshere, Santi Cazorla's on there as well. Alexandre Pato, he had a couple.
Diaby, I'd put him on there.
Ledley King, Phil Jones. Phil Jones.
Yeah, Phil Jones, definitely.
Yeah, big one.
Jamie Redknapp should be on there.
I read a short article about Michael Owen. He had some muscle and joint injuries, and then he used to be an explosive player, and then he had to switch to more of a conservative play style, which I thought was interesting.
It was that he had a really bad injury though. He was never the same player after that.
The knee against Sweden.
It was after. It was after France '98 because he was so good in that tournament, burst onto the scene, and it was the next season, right? The 98-99 season, I think, when he
got a hamstring injury, didn't he?
Really bad. Yeah, he was running full sprint and pulled up. Yeah, classic.
And then he did his knee against Sweden, which was horrible. Yeah, like popped his whole knee. But yeah,
another knee injured.
I think he lost that explosiveness with the hamstring, and then the knee was another one on top.
Yeah,
and you got to think psychologically as well. You're not gonna go in. You're gonna be a little fearful of your body failing you, as well. So you're gonna change your play style maybe.
I hope that now, with the way medical things are now, you would hope that it's less. You know what I mean? You'd hope that happens less now.
Yeah,
it will always happen, I'm sure. But
we've had a weird little spike in ACL or MCL injuries lately, which is kind of funny that we're talking about it. But
somebody was linking that to preseason tours in America. Did you see that?
I didn't see that. No.
I mean, this could be a future topic, guys, because
I think it should be
playing on those bouncy, bloody rubber turfs, which I hate, by the way. I'm doing coaching again this winter, and we play some games on a real grass field. It's a terrible field, but it's real grass, and it's out the back of a school, so the kids are going to play there, right? And then all the other games are on their rubber AstroTurf, and they're terrible for your muscle.
Yeah. The flying can't help either, right? Having a game, 1 day's rest, fly somewhere, that's not going to be good for your muscles.
Yeah,
after all the energy you've exerted. So.
Also, phenomenal Ronaldo with big knee problems as well. Well documented. But long list of players. Coutinho apparently, we just mentioned him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we got Lucas Paqueta again. We should mention this. He played in the 3-1 win over Chelsea, despite strong interest in Man City. The move to Man City broken down or on hold due to allegations of breaking betting rules. West Ham have been granted an appeal of this investigation or allegation, but no date has been set yet for the interview. And I personally suspect West Ham will do everything they can to drag that out past the transfer deadline, so that he is a West Ham player till at least January. I'd love to get your guys' take. And also, I'm not sure of the exact allegations, so if any of you know that, please let us know, because I'm not.
Yeah, there's suspicion of betting patterns back in Brazil and betting on yellow cards, apparently. Those are the suspicions.
Like his own yellow cards.
I don't know.
Him to get booked.
For one of the games in Brazil, basically, there was a huge spike for him to get booked in something like the 20th to the 30th minute, and he got booked in the 24th minute. It was and it was sort of one of those that there was just a huge amount, an inordinate amount of money bet on that to happen in that game. And then it happened. So that's what springed the investigation. And apparently there's a few more that have come out of it. But
the old
it's interesting.
Alarm was going on.
And funny enough, the apparently, according to reports, Betway was the betting company that reported this activity, which is West Ham's sponsor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That is crazy.
That is pretty funny.
I agree with you though, Milo. I think they'll drag it out until the transfer window closes, and he's so crucial to how they play. Right, he's such a good footballer.
Do you think you should be able to bet as a player, not maybe on yourself, but do you think as a player or a player's family, do you think you should be able to bet?
Not on the sport you play in. So if he wanted to place a bet on a rugby match, cricket, ice hockey, Olympics, whatever, go for it. You bet on a football match? Nope. Sorry. Just completely
That's
outside of their scope of influence.
I think you should be able to bet. I think you should be able to bet only on overs. Like personal overs. With goals, with assists, with your team winning, things that are only in your favor, you should be able to bet on. But if you make a bet that says I will score under 2 goals or under 2.5 goals, or my team will win by half a goal or something, then it's off. Then you're suspended for life. But you can only bet on the over.
I'm like half. I think they shouldn't be allowed to bet on football. Any other sport is fine. I think anything they have in the direct control of their sphere is out of it. I think I wouldn't go as far as some fans that are like, they shouldn't even play FPL. Like Salah got into a bit of trouble. Was it last year? Salah got into a bit of trouble because he said he openly admitted he played FPL and picked himself as captain. And then got asked the question, does that influence your performances? And he was like, well, if there's a penalty, I'm going to take it. And I'm like, there you go.
I agree as well. I do not think they should be able to bet on football. How do you police it though? Because again, you could phone a friend and the friend places the bet for you. I'm sure. How deep does the investigation go? Anyway, that was a good segment, guys. But that little one there would have been great for a short. Maybe you can do some editing magic there, Cart.
Well, I'll just say this about Salah. If the FPL league is like winner gets $100 at the end of it, then it should be illegal.
Yeah.
But
very true.
And that involves other players as well. That involves other players. So in my theory, or my my formula for betting, that would not be allowed, because he could be playing with Trent, and maybe Trent could have gotten an assist if he passed more to him or something, But no, if he just has him on his team and triple captains himself every time, and doesn't have any of his week's opponents in the, you know what I mean? Like FPL wouldn't work if it's for money.
Yeah.
Even like a fake trophy or something. Maybe, I don't know. Sorry,
it's interesting. It's an interesting topic. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, and one we'll probably revisit in the future. But a couple more things to get to. Leo Messi winning the League's Cup after a wild penalty shootout. I obviously interested to get your guys' thoughts, but if you cast your minds back a week or so, I suggested that things have been a little bit sus in the MLS since Messi has been there. And my opinion on that has not changed. If anything, it's deepening. So I'd like to get your take.
So glad you said that, because I watched, I can't remember, was it the quarterfinal, I think, where he very clearly pulled someone's shirt, didn't get a foul given against him. Someone then tackled him and Messi got a foul. And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm not watching. I can't. That was Messi should have got a yellow card and ended up with a free kick. I was like, no. So I lost interest straight after that. I was like, absolutely not. So yeah.
I will say on his goal that he scored, he took a nice touch around Walker Zimmerman, and Zimmerman tried to tackle the ball away. 95% of the time in MLS, if Zimmerman makes that tackle, he's getting the ball, and Messi's just on like another level. Still, at his advanced age, is still on such another level. And he just went right around him and buried the shot. But it's just crazy to see. Zimmerman's one of the U.S.'s best center backs, and it's just went right around him like he was a traffic cone. It was great.
So Milo, I delved into your theory a little more. Okay. You know me. I'm a little skeptic of Messi and all his antics. You know, I did a little research into the Leagues Cup. Okay, the Leagues Cup was held last 4 years ago, 2019. It was a friendly tournament. However, when with the arrival of Messi, somehow the rules and the format have changed into a competitive tournament. Okay, and let me tell you how these things have changed. Now, the top 3 teams in the Leagues Cup, first place, second place, and the winner of the third place match, get automatic, regardless of nation, by the way, get automatic qualification into the CONCACAF Champions Cup, with the champions receiving a bye into the round of 16. This gives Messi another chance to win a trophy, first off. By the way, the Leagues Cup going from a friendly tournament to a competitive tournament makes it an official trophy, by the way. Messi needed one more trophy to become the all-time leader in trophies won for their club. Or club and country, I'm guessing. Also, because of these rule changes, without the rule changes, Inter Miami wouldn't even be competing in the Leagues Cup. They are in dead last, and they changed the rules so that all the teams could compete from MLS and Liga Mexico. So they helped Messi there as well. Also, on his debut, well, now this is where things get a little conspiratorial. Not that last part wasn't either, but he comes onto the field on his debut against Cruz Azul and shakes the referee's hand. That is illegal. The referee is not allowed to shake a player's hand.
Was the referee starstruck?
It is what it is. And he was a Honduran referee, Said Martinez. He was appointed to this game to, quote, by CONCACAF, says, deliver justice, nothing more and nothing less, in the possible debut of Lionel Messi with Inter Miami. This is a quote. He was appointed to this match. Okay? And if you look at the game-winning goal from that Cruz Azul game, there is zero contact. Messi grabs his face outside the box, ref calls a foul. And as you mentioned, when that free kick went in, the goalkeeper, a little too far off to the side. The game clock's 3 minutes past the final whistle. I can understand that. And then there was a penalty called against Orlando in I think it was the quarters on Martinez, which was just, no, it shouldn't have been called. And with the way VAR is in MLS, they got to call these things. But yeah, I just did a little deep dive into the conspiracies here. But anyways.
It doesn't look good to me. I'm either watching, like, either the MLS, again, for me it was the goalkeeping. Like, do they just only hire the worst goalkeepers? I don't watch enough MLS to know the standard of goalkeeping, but I'm thinking of telling Matt Turner, go home, son.
Whoa, he doesn't even play for you guys anymore. Leave the guy alone, man.
No, but I'm saying, like, there is a job for you there, and you would be the best. You would be the best goalkeeper in the league, from what I'm seeing. That's all I'm saying. I'm not attacking Matty. I'm just suggesting he should go home.
I mean, yeah. That might be likely. That might happen.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on the farce. I mean the MLS with Messi in it. But yeah, it's not looking good. I don't know. Anyway, last thing, transfers. Just a couple of things to get to. Raya to Arsenal. Not sure if that was done last time we met. Clever deal for both clubs? Question mark. Loan with an option to buy. Seems to work financially for both teams in this window. I think it's a decent move. Any thoughts on that, Raya?
Yeah, I think situationally for certain games, Raya might get the nod. I think that might be the philosophy here. Last year, Matty Turner got the nod in Europe. This might be the same move for Raya, maybe, where you need a little more control, a little more possession, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Raya's impressing in training. I suspect that Ramsdale will. My thinking is he'll keep his position until he makes the mistake, and then Raya will take over, and then Raya would keep it until he makes a mistake. There's nothing wrong with having two good keepers.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Go on, Culture. Sorry, mate.
I was just going to say I'm intrigued by that. I think it's going to show again what sort of manager Arteta is. If he's sort of what he sees on the pitch manager or a statistical based manager, because Raya is statistically a better goalkeeper than Ramsdale. I agree with you, Milo. I think it will be you keep your spot until you fuck up, and then you're dropped, and then the other keeper gets a chance. But it's going to be interesting. Clubs generally do struggle when they have two keepers that could be number one. It doesn't normally end very happily.
No, not normally.
For one of the goalkeepers. Not saying the club as a whole, but for one of the goalkeepers. So it'd be interesting, yeah.
The other moves I noted down, Chuba Akpom, I just did this for fun, by the way, went from Middlesbrough to Ajax, which I thought was interesting. Chuba Akpom, former Arsenal youth product, but just, I just thought it was funny. Lavia, Southampton to Chelsea, obviously that happened recently. Zaniolo joining Villa from Galatasaray. These are all recent stuff. Mitrovic going to Al Hilal for an undisclosed fee. So a bit of a loss for Fulham there. Although I don't think he's ever really... He's not done it in the Prem, has he?
He did last season. He had a really good season last season.
Yeah, he wasn't bad, yeah.
It's just that downgrade, right? They've got rid of him and brought in Raul Jimenez, who's not looked the same since his head injury. Yeah. It's a big drop, I think, and losing Mitrovic. So it'll be and is it still Carlos Vinicius they've got there as their sort of other striker?
I believe so.
He used to. Yeah, he's never looked that good. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, the physicality of Mitrovic is so important to Fulham's build-up and pressing and whatnot. So we'll see.
Yeah. And then the last one I had just for fun was Santi Cazorla joining Real Oviedo as a free agent. I love that he's still playing. What a great little magician.
And he's apparently on a very low wage, is my understanding.
Minimum, I believe.
Minimum wage. Yeah. Maybe this is some, passive aggressiveness towards the Saudi, He's like, look, I'm psychoanalyzing again, but I don't know. He's showing the people. Yeah.
That's it. Go on.
One more transfer, which is obviously no one will really pay attention to it, but the first transfer over £10 million or euros or dollars maybe between two Saudi Arabian clubs happened. And I only found out, and I had to Google it because of Hoff's set up in the Discord the finalised transfer thing. And I was like, wow, that's a big fee for a Saudi Arabian inter-club transfer when you think what they've been doing. It stinks of dodginess. He's not that
money
good
laundering of some kind.
So.
Absolutely.
Just right away to this idea that everything is just cooked over there, man. Come on, guys.
Straight to it.
Come on.
In there. So gotta go straight in there. Yeah.
10 million.
That's how I feel.
Look, I agree that 10 million is now. We've moved. That would have been many years ago. That would have been a household name for 10 million, right? Mm-hmm. Now I agree. 10 million is going to be quite low down the totem pole of things. But I suggest we should probably investigate.
Exactly.
Right, so just
should.
doing a bit of investigation, right? So Hassan Tambakati has moved from Al Shabab FC in the Saudi Pro League to Al Hilal SFC in the Saudi Pro League for 11.5 million euros. Transfer Market, which is generally pretty good at estimating value of players, says his estimated value after 20 caps for the Saudi Arabian national team is 2 million euros.
Oh, that's fine then.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
9.5
Like
million.
United never overpaid for a player before.
He was on a
Unbelievable.
6-year deal or something. I don't know.
How old is he? Do you know? How old is he?
24.
Yeah. that's
He's
fine.
24.
Okay.
So he's the Saudi Arabian Mudrick.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
There you go.
Very
That
nice.
that was your roundup.
Very
There
nice.
you go. That's it.
Oh man. Come on, guys. When I say Saudi, you cannot be like hell. You can't imagine hell. You know, we got to imagine like a baby.
When I say Saudi, you say launder. Saudi, launder.
Like a baby to like you think of it like the heir to the throne. You know, would you say this about the Queen's baby?
What, the Queen's
The
baby,
Queen's
the
baby's-
money launderer?
No, the Queen's baby is destined for greatness. You know, they're destined to
I
be
don't know,
something.
it's King Charles.
Well, they're destined to be something. You know, like we got to have a little bit of
I'm not
respect.
sure that I believe the Saudi League is destined for anything other than the World Cup being over there.
Oh my God, this is just. It's just,
I know. We're gonna see, right? We're gonna watch this project.
Well, look, I could easily say the same thing, but like we're just basing it off of our own like prejudices. That's it. that's what it seems like. Anyways, all right, let's talk about the big news of today.
Greg, sorry, Greg. Well,
sorry.
just before you do that, Greg is right in chat. Let's just a moment there. He says, "Watch as you get sponsored by the Saudis. Our tone will change." 100%. Like we've already
100%.
said that. We're not hiding that. Okay.
No.
If you're in Saudi watching this and you'd like to sign us to the Saudi League, we will all be there.
The official
With bells on.
podcast of the English-speaking podcast of the SPL.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The real
Yeah.
SPL ads. By the way.
We've all seen Cart's editing as well. We can edit out the VODs and get rid of all that stuff we said. We never meant it.
We've all learned how to use editing software now. It's fine.
All right. Okay, let's move on. Let's move
Actually,
on.
on that, is anyone going to watch it? Now that the rights are being bought by DAZN, it's going to go global. It's going to be available in every country. Is
I'm
anyone
not
actually going
paying
to
for
watch?
DAZN again because they lost the
well.
Premier League here. So
It's on
Okay.
Fubo here
yeah,
in the States. If it's on and there's nothing else on, I'll watch. Yeah, I'm not like clamoring to
Well,
watch it though.
my question to you will be: will you watch a game that isn't one of the 6 or 8 clubs that are spending all this money? Because would you watch
The same likelihood that I would watch, a game in Holland that isn't Ajax.
Okay.
And that's their
Yeah,
goal. They want to be the
obviously,
5th biggest league. That's their goal.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah.
they don't
Okay,
want to
that's
take
fair,
over
that's
your
fair.
precious Premier League, guys. Don't worry. They won't touch your English Premier League. Okay, don't worry. Don't get too defensive about it. Okay, all right. Let's get to the big news of the day.
Right, yeah,
There we go.
we can't be smiling when the next segment starts. Everyone
Oh,
straight
that's
face.
true.
Yeah.
Someone put a negative.
reset.
Yeah, we need to list some negative. Princess Diana getting
So
killed.
Oh my god.
I guess.
Okay.
Oh, that's really
Stop
negative.
smiling.
A negative
Stop
comment.
smiling.
The
A negative comment was
Holocaust.
The Holocaust.
Oh God.
Sorry. Okay.
Epstein Island. Okay. There we go. 9/11. There we go. Okay, here we go. Manchester United footballer or former footballer Mason Greenwood has been charged with attempted rape. Oh, excuse me. Let's start over. I'm reading the other part. I forgot I didn't write an intro for this one. All right, here we go.
Right.
Okay.
Here we go. Try again.
Oh, I know. I'm not ready. I'm sweating.
Manchester United. Okay.
This is on the outtake reel.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay. Well, right.
Jesus.
Composure.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
Done me.
All right. Manchester United footballer Mason Greenwood has been dismissed from Manchester United. So now he's a former player. Statements from the club, statements from Richard Arnold, statements from Mason Greenwood today, all coming out. Richard Arnold, the CEO, says, "I'm restricted as to what I can say for legal reasons, including the alleged victim's ongoing right to anonymity, but I'm able to share the following with you, which should give you some insight into the complexity of this case." He goes on to list a couple things. The alleged victim requested the police drop their investigation in April 2022. We were provided with alternative explanations for the audio recordings, which was a short excerpt from a much longer recording, apparently, and for the images that were posted online. The alleged victim's family participated in the process and were given the opportunity to review and correct factual findings. This is obviously all after Mason Greenwood was charged with attempted rape, engaging in controlling and coercive behavior, and assault on occasioning actual bodily harm against his then girlfriend, now fiance, at the time. This was last January, was his final game for United. He was dropped immediately after that. And police proceedings began in October of 2022. Those charges were dropped in April of 2022. And that is when Manchester United begun their internal investigation. A lot of things have been being said in the media lately about United checking the pulse of things, trying to see if the fans would accept him, if they wouldn't accept him. A lot of disgruntled fans are voicing their opinions about the situation. Ultimately, he has been dismissed. Question we've been wondering for a while. What are our general thoughts about this, and what is next for Mason Greenwood?
Go on, Culture. You go.
Yeah,
You
I was going
tackle
to
it
say,
first.
yeah, I don't care what's in the future for Mason Greenwood. I'm glad the club got to this decision. It took them far too long. It's the right decision. He should have been mutually terminated of contract ages ago. I don't understand the evidence thing, because in my mind, if there is wider context around the evidence that was available on social media and all that sort of stuff, if it's a wider conversation, that was the audio recording was a short bit of a longer conversation, that short bit of it is still horrendous. The only way that longer recording is any good is if they go, the first bit before that is, should we have a joke about domestic abuse? And then they go into that argument, and then they go, that was funny. Because there's nothing that makes that short bit of audio that we all heard correct or right in any part of the world. That's absolutely horrendous. And then it comes down to, okay, so he either did abuse her, and that's ruined his Man United career, or she fabricated all the evidence, and that's ruined his Man United career. That's it. In my mind, they're the only two things. Because all the statements have been horrendous. It's been handled horrendously. It's been absolutely awful to be part of the club and being put in that position as a fan to be, am I going to stop supporting this club if they let him play again? Which is things I've talked to my wife about, because it's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous that this has gone on this long and this far, and then to end it with those absolute shit show of a statements from player and club. There's no remorse, no one saying what did happen, what didn't happen. I understand anonymity for the alleged victim and all of that, but it's been handled dreadfully. I'm glad he's gone. Let's move on.
Were the charges dropped?
No. Well, the charges had to be dropped because evidence was...
Lack of evidence?
No, it was...
Witnesses.
Witness statements were redacted.
Okay, but...
That's the wrong word.
They are engaged, right?
Retracted.
They are engaged now.
They're
same couple,
expecting
yes?
as well,
They're expecting.
Yeah, they've had a baby. They've now had a baby.
My question is that the person that would be pressing charges would be her. So if they are engaged and having a baby, I assume that maybe she has said, I don't want to press charge.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the background around.
Okay.
One, how have they managed since April 2000? And you're a recent father of children, Milo. You know how long the whole process takes. Yeah. How did they manage to have a baby together when Mason Greenwood wasn't allowed to interact with any of the witnesses? And this happened in April 2022, and we're now in August 2023. So if my maths is correct,
so they have a kid, or she's expecting.
I think they've just. Is it very soon? It's due, or something like that. Yeah.
Recently, they had a kid. Yeah.
So So look, obviously, for me, you know, what we saw, what we heard, yada yada yada, is really bad. If it was someone you knew, you would be appalled. You would. You know, there's just one tiny part that says if she's forgiven him genuinely, if she has forgiven him, what is obviously it doesn't work like this in the public window, but you know, why shouldn't other people forgive him? If she is willing to forgive him, it's just a question. I'm not saying I would forgive him. I want to make that really clear. I am a father of 3 daughters. If someone lays a hand on any of my daughters, I will go to jail. I promise you, I will, because I will not react in a normal way. You know,
the stats show that in abusive relationships, there is a lot of forgiveness that happens up until around the 6th or 7th time of abuse, and that's when it normally snaps too much, and that's when the charges continue to be pressed, or something more drastic happens from normally the female to the male point of view.
For sure. And I mean, the stats don't lie, and there's a lot of study on it, obviously, from a lot of different angles, you know, psychologically and all the rest of it. Like, I totally get it, and it's, you know, it is unforgivable on so many levels, but it's just, you know, we don't know that there'll be a pattern of abuse. Maybe is there a possibility that this person has learned their lesson from this and has, you know, been forgiven and won't do it? Like, is that a possibility?
It is a possibility, but I think the fact that it happened, it's happened, right? You can't hide behind that evidence. That clearly happened. My annoyance is with the club that it took this long to get to this decision, which I think is the right decision. I don't want him playing for my club. Now, there's the argument people will bring up about Mendy, right, for Man City. The difference there is it went to court, and court found him innocent. That is very different to the charges being dropped. Like, I put my faith. We touched on this last time when we spoke about Mendy, right? I put my faith in the legal system, that when they come up with a verdict, you have to believe all due diligence was done and all of that was happened. This Mason Greenwood thing is completely different because charges were dropped and it didn't go to court.
Yeah.
Now, I don't agree with those that say, well, if the CPS can't take it to court, then it means he's innocent until he's proven that guilt. I think it was not taken to court because witnesses were paid off. They clearly met up with each other. Tampered with, you know, things like that. I'm glad he's not playing for my football club anymore.
That's fair.
Sorry, I took over there.
Jump in, Cart Hoff. Yeah, jump in.
I think a really interesting angle of this is how journalism played a part in this. Someone inside the club, or multiple people, were leaking stuff to Adam Crofton, who's like the main guy reporting about this on Twitter. Someone knew, like, when they first put that first statement out, when the CEO's name,
Richard Arnold.
Richard Arnold was supposed to record a video saying they were going to integrate him back into the squad. Someone inside the club was not happy about that. And according to Adam Crofton, multiple people were either going to go on strike, quit, varying levels of discontent with the club within. And just to echo your mismanagement by the club point, why in the world did they, before making a decision, they threw the their women players that were playing in Australia in the World Cup, why did they throw them under the bus as well? It was another baffling decision to me. Like, oh, we want to ask them what their thoughts and feelings are, and then that just puts the target on their back when they're preparing for a World Cup final. Well, it wasn't a final at that point, but eventually a World Cup final. Yeah, that's the part that rubs me the wrong way the most. There's a lot of bad stuff there, but that one, and just so I don't know if we said it, I don't think we did. Man United didn't make this decision because it was the right decision. They made this decision because of all the backlash that they wanted to avoid.
Yeah.
That's the kicker for me.
I did find it odd the way it seemed like the club were testing the waters.
Mm-hmm.
I did find that a little odd, but yeah, Carl, what did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, what's done is done. He's gone. But I'll look at it from a positive point of view. Mason Greenwood has 0 allies in the world. 0. Think about that for a second. Think about a kid who made a mistake, and everybody on the face of the earth saw what he did, and he's 18 or 19, and he has no allies. This kid was at United since he was 7. Okay, I think United feel a sense of loyalty to him because he is an academy product. As difficult as it is to defend something, or as heinous as those acts were, he needed something. He needed some help from somewhere, and the only place that is Manchester United. So it puts Manchester United in a very difficult position on how to move forward. And now, whether they were testing the waters to see if a potential comeback was possible, I think that's in the best interest of Mason Greenwood. Whether or not they were going to actually bring him back, I don't know. I would be very, very skeptical on that. But giving him a little bit of wiggle room for the rest of his life, he's 18 years old, 19 years old, giving him a little wiggle room that United was at least trying to help him. The statements he's made, he's trying to win a little bit of his freedoms back, after this trial by social media, whatever it's called, trial by social media. And the guy hasn't been charged. He's made a mistake. It happens to be blown out of proportion because of the club he plays for. I think the club, obviously putting trust in a character like that, that's the club's fault. I mean, at some point, that's already a bad look for the club. But I think the club owe it to him to give him the best opportunity in a media-driven world to take at least take a step somewhere, And the only way you can do that is obviously you're going to look a little bad somewhat defending. It sounds like they were defending him just by these reports of, hostile. They were judging, people as hostile, aggressive, or amicable or something. I don't know, supportive. Just taking these measures helps Greenwood. Whether it was ultimately they were going to bring him back or not, I don't know. But these little steps ultimately help Greenwood. His life is going to be shit from here on out. He could end up on some reality TV show in a couple of years. Some random stuff could happen. I mean, I can't imagine his life will be smooth as it could have been for any other sexual deviant in the past, right? It's going to be totally different landscape for him. So it's not the same as just a random sexual harassment charge or whatever the charges were. It's blown up to a degree that is just out of this world. I don't know how many fans United have.
No,
so
yeah, not to take away from the the case side of it, but I didn't watch him play football that much before all this began. You guys would have watched more. I think he had a good game against Arsenal, actually, ironically. The year before this all kicked off, you could probably tell me better. But like, how good a player is he behind all this?
I don't know. He's pretty
he
good.
was
He
voted, yeah, he was voted like top 5 youngsters in the world.
Okay.
Just before this happened.
By whom?
Just made his by
where are
the
you
FIFA
going with
Golden
this?
Boy Award.
Okay.
So
where are we going with this?
I think Man United were worried about losing a potential, in today's market, £100 million striker for free. I think
I wasn't going down that road, Carl.
Okay.
If that's what you wonder. I wasn't going down that road. The reason I asked is because there are countries, there are places where they won't be so worried about this, and it wouldn't have been.
Oh, he'll get a contract.
It wouldn't
get a contract.
It wouldn't have been in the media. It wouldn't have been. I'm not saying that they wouldn't take it seriously, but it wouldn't have had the impact. So for him, as a, like I said, it's difficult. It's a difficult one because there is part of it, like, anyone with experience in it is saying, okay, no, this is going to be a pattern. This could happen again. I'm so fortunate that I've not experienced anything like that, so I can't speak from that place, right? I can only speak from the place that if he's guilty of that, then the punishment he should get should reflect that, right? And if he's innocent of that, then so be it, right? And like, that's why I was saying, like, for now, like, if she's dropped charges and given him a second chance, I just think, like, somebody else will probably do that, and maybe probably should do that. I don't know.
Should charge him? Or...
No, should give him a second chance at football. If that's why I asked how good he was, because is he good enough that like a team in a different country where it's not in the media side of things, they can just bring him in from a football point of view.
Italy, Turkey, maybe even someone like Saudi. I think, like, I'm not saying those countries condone what he allegedly did or did, no. But I think that they won't be as media focused on the British media like that, and I think he will get a contract. I don't think his career in football's over. He's a very talented footballer. I'm happy his career at my club is over. That's how I see it. Yeah. And I hope he never plays in the Premier League again, but he probably will at some point.
I don't think he will. I don't think he'll. I couldn't see him, sticking around Britain. I can't see it. That'd be too difficult, because this whole thing is a social media situation and a media thing. It's become that. That's how he got in trouble, is because this thing blew up on the internet. Like there are so many people who've probably done this exact same thing and could be playing for your favorite team right now. I'm just putting that out there, and so you have to really understand why this is happening to Greenwood, and it's because someone leaked these things on the internet. That's truly the catalyst of this thing.
So the flip side, though, so before you were saying, like, Man United offering support because he's a young kid and things like that, and I totally agree. But if that's why Man United took so long to get to this decision, is because they wanted to make sure that Greenwood was supported so that this has a less chance of happening again. He understands his actions and all this thing that's happened. Fine, great. But would this have happened if it was a 17-year-old in the youth team who was still, reasonably high potential but not quite made his first team appearance, and his girlfriend leaked it on social media? Would Man United have done it, or would they have just gone, yeah, see you later? We're not sure if you're actually going to make it or not, but it's still all over social media, so off you pop.
Yeah, if it was on social media and it made it as big of a splash as Mason Greenwood's did, then I think he would get in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think Man United would have taken as long to come to this decision. If it was a 17-year-old or 18-year-old who's not made a first team appearance and isn't voted top 5 in Golden Boy Award at FIFA just before it happens, right, I think Man United just go, see you later, we're not taking any of this, off you go, contract mutually terminated. So why is it different?
because of the splash of the player. This is a much different situation than a no name.
Yeah,
like I said, he has no allies.
It shouldn't make a difference. It shouldn't make a difference.
You should leave the guy to rot in hell. Basically, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying
that's
the
what
club
you're
can
saying.
still support him.
No.
But I'm saying no. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm saying they should have come to this decision very quickly. They should have released him from his contracts basically very quickly. In the background,
Without
they can
doing
support
investigation?
him, give him.
No
they can
investigation
support-
then?
The investigation should not take until from April last year to
Who are
now
you- how
to
are
come
you
to
to-
this decision.
Who are you to say that? Also,
Because
let
it
me
shouldn't.
say what. What do you mean it shouldn't? Have you ever done an investigation like this before?
Well, no, obviously I don't work in
Okay,
the
so
police. I don't
let's
work
not
in the
say
Crown
what should and
prosecution,
shouldn't
but-
happen in this situation. What Richard Arnold did say is that he did think about the timing of this decision. He didn't want to do it before the World Cup, Women's World Cup final. He mentioned something about that taking away any. They did want to time the decision, the time they dropped the decision, because they didn't want to do it before the Women's World Cup and then destroy all of the Lionesses World Cup
Lionesses,
aspirations.
yeah.
So they wanted
He
to wait
also
till
said-
after the World Cup.
But he also said when it was leaked by Croft or the
Leaked.
Athletic, he was
Keyword
like,
leak.
Yeah,
Leak.
yeah, I know. But he came out that statement that the club and Richard Arnold put out after that was, we haven't made a decision. We're going to deliberate it. We want to chat to our ladies team. But they made the announcement that they're releasing Mason Greenwood when the Lionesses were flying back from the World Cup on their flight. They were on the flight on the way back. So you telling me Richard Arnold, as soon as the World Cup final was over, spoke to the Man United players that were with the Lionesses, and then they said, yeah, that's fine, release him? No, bollocks. He's not going to phone them straight after they lost the World Cup final. Richard Arnold lied somewhere on here. There's loads of lies going on. It's just fucking nonsense. I'm glad he's not playing
none of
for
the
my club.
leaks could be lies, right? Never.
Oh no, they
never.
could. I'm saying there's lies all over the place.
then how do you know he lied? You don't know he lied, man. You're making
Because
stuff up again.
his statement said,
What statement?
his and the club's statement, when the leaks happened, right? Ignore the leaks. The leaks happened to say they're going to reintegrate Greenwood. The club then put out a statement that said, that's not true. We're still deliberating it in the club. This was an official Man United club statement. We're still deliberating it in the club. We're still talking about it. We want to discuss it with all involved parties, including our women's team. Fine. Done. That's how that club statement stated it.
Okay.
Then what they did is they came to the conclusion of releasing Mason Greenwood from his contract and announced that whilst the Lionesses were flying back from Australia.
Okay.
Now,
So you
in between flying back and that World Cup final finishing was a matter of what, a day? Are you telling me Richard Arnold and the club spoke to Mary Earps and all the other Man United players that were part of the Lionesses team the day after they've lost the World Cup final? Bollocks, have they?
maybe before?
Well, why would he release a statement saying they still need to talk to the ladies
Because
team?
they don't want to make it seem like the ladies team are giving any thought to this.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, I think you're being a bit too
there's
nice
two
about
ways
this,
to
but
look
yeah.
at everything, and there's
There is. Yeah,
a
there is.
negative way and a positive way to look at things. Things we don't know about, I choose to look at them in a positive way, because what good does
I
it do
don't
me
think-
if I just
yeah.
make it a negative situation? I just don't see any plus side
I
from
don't
my
think
perspective.
I don't think anyone's. No one's defending the player. It's just
No.
we're asking the question: what is next for him?
What is next for him? Yeah.
I mean, that's the question that we've been discussing. We have been discussing. I mean, Cultured, you're just glad it's not with United. That's your position, and that's fine. And I think it's right that we've looked at it from different angles. Because,
I agree.
Because I think I don't know his history as a person. Like, has he had a support network his whole life? I'm not trying to find excuses for him. I just you'd have to look so deep into what led to that. You know what I mean? Because for someone to do that, like, normal people don't do that, right?
But
what we
common.
define as normal.
It's very common.
It's probably
Very
far
common.
more common than I know. Yeah.
And it's being blown out of to a proportion for how common it is. This is an uncommon reaction. Can we agree with that? To him doing it? Because of the
someone-
stage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
So-
he's
and
famous,
that-
yes.
and that's why you cannot look at this from the angle of the guy at the liquor store doing this. You know, you can't look at it the same way. This is a totally different situation that none of us have any experience with. And I don't think there's much precedent.
Would you have
here.
him, if it was Tottenham, would you have him play for your club ever again? I'm guessing no.
No, it was when we brought in Basuma last year. He was still being investigated for something similar, and I was like, I hope nothing. Obviously, he's super talented. I've been talking positively about him for the past month, and I was just hoping that like none of this was true. But I also hoped that if it was, that the club knew something that we didn't, because it hadn't been announced that he was being cleared until after he had already signed. So
This is exactly how I felt about Thomas Partey.
Yep.
So the fact that we can all talk about it from our club's perspective indicates that there's a problem, for sure. But you know, it's a very, very difficult subject to navigate, right? It really is. Like there's no easy way to talk about it. You just have to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, guys, that'll wrap up our episode. We are a couple minutes past. No trivia today, but yeah.
I got to see what it's like when me and Carter are arguing there, just for a couple of minutes. Didn't last anywhere near as long as ours do, but it was still entertaining.
Nah, yeah. I can hang around for a quiz if you want to do. If you've got trivia, by the way.
I always prep it just in case, but we kind of we aim to be done by 9+ if we're gonna chop it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't like the guy. You know, I don't like Mason Greenwood. I don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just the dude. It got leaked. You know, the fact that it got leaked. I don't know. To me, it just feels like there are probably so many more people that do this exact same thing, and it doesn't get leaked.
Yeah,
I
do understand that. Yeah,
you know, and because of that, I think it just this is some. I don't know if this has happened before. I don't know, like David Hasselhoff drunk eating a hamburger. Have you seen that video?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, like it's like things like this. Obviously, it wasn't sexual abuse or anything, but it's like
Mel Gibson did one as well. Something I remember.
Yeah,
Mel Gibson and you know Dana White recently.
My concern is that she felt obliged to put these ones on social media because it's not the first time it's happened. That's it's all conjecture. I understand it's all conjecture. I'm looking at it from a negative light if that's how you want to describe it. That is my concern. That's my concern with it.
Okay, we're talking about it from a Mason Greenwood perspective. We're not talking about it from, you know, I don't think we're even giving any thought to women's, the greater women here, we're not even like, obviously from their perspective, I completely understand why he should not play, and that's part of the reason why I don't think he should play for United again. But
I mean, this is a football.
We're talking about,
after all.
We're talking about Mason Greenwood. Obviously, I wouldn't say from Mason Greenwood's perspective, I'd try not to look at it as a negative. But obviously, him coming back and the thought of him coming back is a massive negative for so many other people. But we're not talking about that perspective. We're talking about Mason Greenwood's perspective.
Yeah. We knew it was going to be a tough thing to talk about. I was always going to be unable to fathom it from the Mason Greenwood side point of view, which is why we have different opinions, right? Like, I wanted to get across is that I'm happy that he's not playing for my club. So
yeah. I mean, and also, I could see it from the perspective. I could look at it from the negative perspective. You know, his girlfriend, if he went to jail, she doesn't get any of his money. You know, very simple. It's a very simple equation. You know, if we just look at all the Saudi moves, money. she doesn't get any of his 100K a week, if he goes to jail, better drop those charges. It's very simple. Like, I mean, obviously to me, that's the easy route to this, but I think there's a more nuanced way to look at it. And that's from the club caring about a 7-year-old, that they brought up.
Maybe, yeah.
From the club's perspective.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see where he goes. And obviously, if anything more comes to light, hopefully, she is able to get away.
He had some training footage leaks. Speaking of leaks, he had some training footage leaks.
He looked horrendous.
It looked horrible.
He looked like someone that without, like, how Gaza without football in his life sort of would always put on weight and fall apart and then come back to football, and that would get him going again. Like Greenwood didn't look like he'd been drinking or anything like that, but he looked like he hadn't taken care of himself as you would expect a professional athlete to do.
Right.
When he's not actually playing sport. Yeah, he looked so out of shape, so unfit, so bad.
I do have an unrelated question. Are we doing Player of the Week for the short?
Should we do a quick short? Yeah, we can do.
Yeah, we got to do a short. I'll try to get some other shorts in
the
there
week
as
and
well.
stuff. Is it? Now, I noticed obviously in the last short stuff, Hoff, when we did Player of the Week, is it Premier League only is my question, I guess. Because Hoff picked someone from, it could be anyone in football.
Anyone you like. Apart from Mason Greenwood.
Okay. Maybe we could do like the opposite, flop of the week or something.
Sorry, it's too soon. I couldn't help myself.
Do you guys want to try, instead of you guys saying, then coming back to me, then someone else saying, like we just kind of go in a circle or something? Yeah. Like I'll say Cultured, who's your player of the week? And then Cultured, you say yours, then you say Hoff, and then Hoff, you say yours, then you say Milo, and then Milo, you say. I'm going by stream layout, by the way.
Sure, whatever you want.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that can work. Yours. I think the edit went really well with it going back to you. I think it keeps that. I guess there would be the movement anyway, right? Because it's going to go from person to person. So
yeah,
there'll still be movement, and if you have little quick comments, and if you want to make little noises, I don't know, whatever expressions, throw it in there. I'll try to. I'll try to get him in there. All right, I'll start it off though. I'm gonna go to Cultured. Cultured, you go to Hoff, Milo back to me.
Okay, so I'll go to Hoff. Player of the week, right?
Player of the week. Match second week of the Premier League. All right, here we go. All right, players of the week for match day 2. Cultured, who do you got?
I'm going Mary Earps, England goalkeeper in the World Cup final. Fantastic game, penalty save. I think the score would have been a lot worse without her, so I'm going for Mary Earps, United Lioness goalkeeper. Hoff, who's yours?
I actually had Olga Carmona in the same match. She scored the World Cup winning goal, woman of the match performance, and some tragedy after with her father passing away, but fantastic performance from her. Milo, who do you have?
My player of the week this week, one for the North Americans, it's Captain America, Christian Pulisic. Great cross to help set up Milan's opener, capped his Rossinieri debut off with a magnificent goal himself to lead them to a 2-0 win over Bologna. Over to you, Cart. Sorry, who's yours?
And my player of the week, this might come to as a surprise to many of you, is Luis Diaz. He scored a beautiful little chipped goal. He flicked it up to himself. Bang, right in the bottom corner. Beautiful goal from Luis Diaz. Nice. I didn't time it that time, but I think we're okay.
So I forgot completely about passing it to you, Carl.
Hey, that's the thing about edits. Really, it doesn't matter. I will just edit it in.
Yeah. One thing,
Milo, it was the enthusiasm of the finger point at the beginning.
Finger point, yeah. Well, Carl said do whatever you want. So I'm like, proper David Brent style. Can I point out, Mary Earps, possibly the greatest mouthing of the phrase "fuck off" you will ever see. I don't know if you've seen it. Please look it up if you haven't. She's like,
it's already a GIF on like WhatsApp that you can use. So good times.
Congrats to Spain, by the way. We didn't really talk about it, but
yeah. It was a really good game. I really enjoyed watching it.
It wasn't in the rundown roundup.
No,
it was supposed to be, but it's all good.
Well, no, it was there, but then you said I didn't put it in, and you know what? Then I was like,
It's fine. It's fine.
My dad actually woke up to watch it. He was like, "This is the World Cup final. I'm waking up to watch it." And I was like, "What?
Nice.
Okay, cool." I
Nice.
didn't even wake up to watch it, but you know,
Come on,
Americans
you
and
two
their
got to be so happy that I chose Pulisic.
yeah.
Oh,
What the
yeah.
hell? Wait, what did I missed what you said? I was just I did a salute. You know?
A goal and an assist in his Milan debut.
His goal was nice.
His goal was very nice, yeah, and his cross to set up the opener was pretty good too. The openers, it was a deep cross by him to the byline. It got cut back, and Giroud buried it.
I need to watch these highlights.
AC Milan are just like what Chelsea Southeast, I guess. They had they showed Pulisic celebrating, saw Loftus Cheek, Pulisic, Giroud. Who else? They got someone else from Chelsea too.
There's
They
so
got
much.
Tamori, haven't they?
Yeah,
There's so much to
Tomori.
get. There's so much to get to, like for chat. Like just so you know, like it's hard, right, to fit everything in. But if big things happen, we will definitely be talking about it. So
I actually
would.
think that show. I know we're still live, but the show flowed really well today.
Yeah,
I thought it was really good, smooth.
It was
Yeah.
good.
and we got a great outtake at the most inappropriate time as well, which Mordechai
Ooh.
clicked for us, thankfully.
Ooh.
Yeah. The thing with that really got me going on that Greenwood one is that you gave yourself a finger intro and then forget to speak. You went, right, here we go.
I forgot to write a little intro on that one. That was the one I should have written something on.
Jeez, I just lost it. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Yeah.
To be honest, it was a struggle to keep a straight face during the initial part of that, which is very
Jeez.
bad because it's a very serious topic.
We'll have to like put a Snapchat filter where we're like, you know, crying or whatever, you know, on all our face.
Right.
With Feb, I think Milo's "I'm sweating" got in there just before we started. So
Oh God.
Oh boy. All right, guys.
We'll definitely have to do some editing.
It is
that.
12. It's past midnight for Hoff, so
Yeah.
let's wrap it up.
Yeah,
Milo,
yeah.
you want to take us away with a?
I got you.
You got us. All right, here we
Yeah.
go.
So I just found out I'm colorblind. The diagnosis came completely out of the purple.
That's good.
Yep,
I like that.
I like that.
That's good. That's really good.
unbelievable.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was one of the better ones. One of the better.
That's saying something. Yeah.
It's clever.
Cool. So Hoff shooting off because it's bedtime.
Yep.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Tis.
Are you guys editing now? Because I'll do thumbnails and stuff.
I can't edit now. Gotta wake up early.
Okay.
But I can edit tomorrow afternoon, like 4 p.m.
I will download the VOD and also make a start. I might not get them all done by tomorrow night though.
No, that's okay. I think as long as we've got one that can go ready for tomorrow, that's fine. And then try and do and then I'll schedule them and do descriptions and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
Right, especially because the Greenwood one's going to require a lot of. You're gonna have to really watch that.
Manipulation. Yeah.
I think we should title that one Mason Greenwood makes Manchester United brings back Greenwood or something, you know, like
Oh my God! Like really, just to
just
hit the
clickbait.
algorithm.
Just
Get those
clickbait.
clicks.
Greenwood is
Unbelievable.
back. New
Chat,
news.
thanks for
just
hanging,
in.
by the way, tonight.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Thanks,
out,
Jack.
guys. I
All
gotta
right,
run
guys.
tonight.
Cart,
Yeah.
just while
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
here. Everyone else
yeah.
can go if you want. This is just for Cart.
Okay.
So,
Well, I gotta
bye-bye.
stay now.
I tuned into a bit of your football phone-in on
Oh
Friday.
yeah.
I know you put that on your Twitch channel.
Yeah.
Do you think that could work as a Friday thing on the 91st minute? I know it's slightly different, but it is pulling quite a few. It could potentially pull a few people in. Like in terms of views afterwards, it's got
Yeah.
like 52. Your
Oh,
last,
does it?
Yeah, I think your last football phone in on your YouTube channel for the wrap up has got like 52 views, or
Oh my
32,
God.
something like that.
I don't know if I could put these guys
Just wondering.
on the 91st minute.
It's up to you. I just thought about bringing traffic to the channel and seeing.
We did talk about that briefly, Cart, didn't you, at the beginning? And you said you were thinking
Yeah.
you'd keep it separate for now.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's what was decided at the time.
Yeah.
I don't mind either way.
Because my thought was right. We're going for a football sort of show. Love it or loathe it, it's similar to how TalkSport's set up, and they do have different presenters that do different segments and things like that. And that could just be Cart's segment he does on the 91st minute. Your Twitch channel hosts it, but the video is done live on YouTube, and it's a stream that is part of the 91st minute collective.
Yeah, we could definitely.
So, like, if Milo wanted to do a quick half-an-hour Twitch chat just around Arsenal, he could do it and stream it to the 91st Minute YouTube channel as well. So it's still on his Twitch channel, but it's part of the 91st Minute collective for YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah, well, we could talk about it. I think it's got to be a collective decision. But I think a long time ago we had talked about this sort of multiple things and stuff, but it's just so much it's a lot of coordination and organization and time commitment, and I think I don't know if it's something. I think the thought at the time was like, in the beginning it seems like a good idea, but will we be able to keep consistent with it at the time? I'm planning on doing because I'm not streaming a whole lot anymore. I'm just Fridays and Mondays are kind of stream nights, and then any other night I feel like. But I don't know. Yeah, it's up to you guys really. It's a collective
your stream
decision.
from 2 days ago has 61 views after going live, or after the live has finished.
Okay.
And I think that's quite. If you're not doing anything with the wrap up YouTube channel, that's quite a good thing you could put on the 91st minute to drive a bit of traffic.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. That's just how I saw it. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm the stats guy.
Another gold bridge, just Arsenal. That's what they want, Milo.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Cheers, guys.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right. Excellent. Thanks, chat. Thanks, everyone. Speak to you soon.
Yeah.
All right, chat. Thanks for hanging out. Friday. I'll see you Friday. I'm busy this week, so we'll see. All right, guys. Good night.